Yumi's silent announcement. In the second month of the lunar calendar, which was March of the solar calendar, Yumi lost a lot of weight. She held Wang Hongbing and walked around. Wang Hongbing is also known as Little Eighth, but in front of outsiders, Yumi never calls him Little Eighth, only Wang Hongbing. The boys in the village generally don't use full names. Full name is an official name and is only used by teachers in class. Yumi calls the toothless little brother by his exact full name, which makes him particularly cautious and formal, distinguishing him from other children, and giving him the meaning of being incomparable. When Yumi held Wang Hongbing in her arms, her tone of voice and the look on her face were that of a seasoned mother. In fact, it is not a matter of being self-taught. She learns it from the young mothers in the alleys, farms, and threshing fields. Yumi is a thoughtful person. No matter what she does, she thinks about it in her heart first and then implements it into her hands. However, after all, Yumi is still a girl. She is not as messy or slovenly as the young mothers, and she looks particularly good when holding the child. Therefore, the tone and expression of Yumi are no longer imitated. They have the characteristics of Yumi and become the invention and creation of Yumi. The appearance of Yumi with the child left a deep impression on the women. What they saw was not how beautifully Yumi held the baby. After all, it was Yumi who was wise and nice. However, the women in the village immediately saw the new sign. Yumi was carrying Wang Hongbing around, not just to take care of the child, but also for another, more important purpose. Yumi was talking to people and casually carried Wang Hongbing to the gates of some people who must have slept with Wang Lianfang. Yumi stood at the gates of those houses. She stopped and didn't move. She stayed there for a long time. In fact, she was trying to get the light back on her mother's face. Fu Guang's obviously didn't understand the profound meaning of Yumi, as she was rash. She unexpectedly stretched out her arms to take Wang Hongbing from Yumi's arms and called herself Auntie and said, "Give Auntie a hug, all right?" Yumi was talking to someone else, now looking at her as if she didn't exist, and held him tighter in her hands. Fu Guang talked a few times, and it was clear that this girl, Yumi, wouldn't let go. But in front of so many people and at the door of her own home, Fu Guang felt embarrassed. Fu Guang had no choice but to take one of Wang Hongbing's hands and put it to her mouth, making it look like it was very fragrant and delicious. Yumi snatched Wang Hongbing's hand back, put his little fingers in her mouth, sucked them clean one by one, turned around and spit at the door of Fu Guang's, turned around and scolded Wang Hongbing. "Isn't it dirty?" Wang Hongbing laughed with a mouthful of gums, but Fu Guang's face turned pale with fright, and she couldn't say anything. The people around were all aware, so of course hard to say anything either. Yumi stood one by one. In fact, she exposed one by one and announced one by one. No one can slip through the net. The women who had slept with Wang Lianfang couldn't help but feel frightened when they saw Yumi's back. The silence here was even more thrilling than using a loudspeaker. Yumi didn't say a word, but revealed their faces bit by bit, showing their scandals and humiliating her lively. This was particularly satisfying for the innocent women, and it was also particularly inspiring. They saw it and were extremely jealous of Shi Guifang. This girl was given birth to by Shi Guifang. They returned home and scolded their children even more harshly. They weren't those useless things. "Look at Yumi! Look at Yumi!" This not only means we don't worry about not knowing the goods, but about comparing them. But it also has the seriousness and urgency of the way of establishing a life model. The women in the village like Yumi more than ever before. When they finish work or on the way to the dock, they often gather around Yumi and amuse Wang Hongbing with her. After it, they always say, "We don't know which mother-in-law has such good luck to have a girl like Yumi as her daughter-in-law." The women envy the non-existing woman, and after a roundabout way, they finally fully flattered Yumi. Of course, Yumi can casually take the words. She doesn't say anything, but secretly glance at the sky, and the tip of her nose is shining. Our Yumi is about to have a husband. You guys are still in the dark. Where is Yumi's husband? Far away in the horizon, close in front of you, just 7 miles away in Peng village. As for that person, it's the other way around. He's close in front of us, yet far away. Yumi would never let outsiders know about such a thing.